Hello, my name is Zana from Terrytown, and welcome to your J Flight 265 RLS. You're going to be starting right up front here with your power tongue jack. You're going to have an on and off switch for the front light, and then retract and extend for the up and down right there. Just in case this does ever electrically go out, you can peel this little tab up here and then insert a tool. Once you insert that tool, that'll manually override this front power jack. Right behind here, this is going to be your propane tank and your little regulator. For the regulator, it's going to have these little red switches here. As soon as propane starts going through it, that is going to turn green just to show that you have a steady flow of propane going through. Otherwise, you just take this regulator, flip it either way to choose the supply. So of course, arrow this way. If you want this tank, go ahead and do that. Or if you want the other tank, go ahead and switch it to the other side there. Moving forward, you're going to have your starter pack here. So you're going to have a 25-foot drinking hose, a sewer hose, and a 110 adapter. So if you do decide to plug it into your house for any reason to start cooling your fridges or something like that, you are able to do that with this little adapter here. Moving on, this is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when your furnace is on, all the extra heat is going to be kicking out of here. So for any little kids, animals, anything like that, when this is on, just try and keep them away from that. Otherwise, this is your water heater. So to turn it on, you just turn it on right there, and then to release it, you just hold this button down for this little pressure release, and then the water will then flow out. And then just make sure when you go to put it on, it's a little bit difficult. You just got to make sure that it's completely around in the circle. Right here is going to be your outside shower. You have a hot and cold side of the faucet, along with the shower head and hose inside there. Just down here is going to be your city water connection. So when you do get to a campground, this is what you are going to want to plug into. This is going to be your main water source. And then right down here is going to be your sewer system. So you have your black tank on your right, your gray tank on your left. Your black tank is going to be for your toilet. So anything solid and everything like that is going to be coming out of here. Otherwise, the gray tank is going to be shower, sink, stuff like that. So what I do recommend doing is doing the black tank first, just because that's the dirtiest water. So what I recommend doing is just pulling that. It's gonna start to drain. When it's done draining, leave that open. Put a pressurized hose into the second piece here. This is your black tank flush. So this black tank flush is going to activate a small sprinkler inside the system to make sure that no solids get stuck on the way out. And when you're done with that, pull your hose off, close your black tank, and then open your gray, pull it, and then I recommend doing the gray last just because it's the cleanest water out of the two. So it'll clean that sewer hose before you go ahead and put your hands right back on there. Otherwise, you have a cable and satellite input here. Your shore power or camp power right here. And then just up top, that is going to be a backup camera prep. So if you do decide to purchase one, that's where it's going to be right there. Moving along, if you do decide to put your outside TV here, you're gonna have your cable, satellite antenna output here, and then 110 outlets for power right there. And then just behind here is going to be your fresh tank drain, which I'll go over in just a second. Here's your fresh tank, so you just pop that off. The main time you're ever going to need to use this at any point is going to be for rustic camping or basically just off-grid camping. So what I do recommend with this is, for an example, if you're going to a national park, most times they'll have like a little spout before you go in. This is where you're going to want to fill this up. This is just a big tank inside your camper that holds water, so you don't have to worry about a city water connection. So if you do decide to fill this up, you just go ahead, fill that up beforehand, and then turn on the water pump, and the pump is going to draw water from that tank and push it through your lines. Otherwise, going back down here, if you do have extra water after your vacation, you just twist that little cap, and then that is going to drain the rest of the water out. And then down underneath here is going to be your low point drains, right there. Hot and cold lines, so it's the two lowest points of your camper. So when you do decide to empty all your water out for putting it away for the season, you just open those two little tabs up. And then right here That is going to be your manual override thing, not thing, crank right there. And then right here is going to be side view camera. So once again, the package, if you do decide to purchase a backup camera, you are also able to get side view cameras as well. Otherwise, the last thing for the outside is going to be the little awning manual override right there, just a black little tab. You can peel that off, insert a tool, I believe it's a 10mm socket. You can go ahead and then crank that back in or out just in case that ever electrically goes out. Otherwise, before we head in, I'm gonna go over these stairs. So just make sure your door is completely open. Otherwise, this little piece is going to scrape the side of your door. Otherwise, you just pick it up. Make sure this piece here is behind the frame, so you want to pull this so it doesn't move. And if you ever need to adjust the legs at any time, you just pull one of these and then your legs will go up and down. Otherwise, you just pull the tab, open this up, and then you are good to go. One last thing is just make sure it's completely flush on either sides. You're able to have a small little gap, but as soon as the gap starts getting greater, like this is going to be more up in the air, when you go to shut your door, it'll damage the bottom of it. Otherwise, that's it for the outside. Let's go in. Now moving to the inside, this is going to be pretty much just your main power source or panel here. Starting right up top, for all of your readers, you just tap and hold, and it'll tell you how full they all are. So for example, this is your battery, tells you it's full. Fresh tank, black tank, and gray tank, it all tells you they're empty, and then eventually over time, they will start to fill up. Just to the right of that is going to be your slide. So if you hold out, going along with this before it fully extends, it is going to sound kind of scary. It'll sound like a gear grinding noise, but it's completely normal. All it is just the motor reaching its limit. So you'll know it when you hear it. That noise sounds scary, but it is completely normal. And for your awning, you have in and out here. I'm just gonna reel this out for you real quick. The main thing with your awning is just make sure to let go when you see the end of the awning, and then the black bar sitting on underneath it. Because if you do decide to keep rolling, it is reeling the opposite way and end up breaking. So there's the flap or the end of the awning, and then there's the bar behind it. And then you can do this on either side, but to pitch it for the rain, you just go ahead, pull down right here, and you can see how it creases at the elbow. Obviously, if you pull it harder, it'll eventually bend all the way, and the water can go off of either side. Otherwise, before you reel it in, just push it back up. You can't leave it down, but it's all kind of personal preference. And then reeling it back in. And then for the switches right here, this is going to be your outdoor awning light. This is going to be your indoor lights, which you can also turn on and off by the button right in the middle. And then the last switch is going to be your water pump. So like I mentioned before, if you do need to use your fresh tank, you just flip that switch and then you are all set. And then right down here is your carbon monoxide detector. That little green light is going to indicate that it is on. So always double check. Obviously, it's always going to say on a safety feature like I mentioned before. But what I mean by that is always check this green light when you go to pack up. So for example, if you're going to leave it for the winter, either at a campground, your house, something like that, just make sure that green light is off so it doesn't kill your battery. One way to do that is just take the negative end off of your battery, and then this will finally die. Otherwise, moving on, this is going to be your main set of keys. It comes with two. These silver ones are going to be for your main doors and baggage doors, and then the black ones are going to be for your outside shower. And then microwave, fan and light, And then for your oven and stove here, you just flip the switch on so the lights come on, you press, turn to the pilot symbol, and then you spark, and then it'll ignite. And then coming to the oven portion, there's going to be a small little igniter right back there. So when you do go to light it, you just press in, turn to the pilot symbol just like you would with the burners, and then sit there and spark to the right again until you see that flame appear back there. Once you see that flame, go ahead and turn to your desired temperature. Moving on to the fridge. Right back here is going to be where you adjust your temperature. And then nothing for the freezer. Others right here is your thermostat. You just keep tapping through. And it gives you fan settings, cool settings, which is your AC, and then furnace settings, which is your heat. Then of course, temperature up and down with that. The main thing in the bathroom here, just for your toilet, it's a foot flush. And then the two things are going to be RV grade toilet paper and toilet solution. The solution is going to help break down solids and smells. And then the toilet paper is just going to help break down easier, just to make sure everything breaks down and flows nice and easy. Is for your bedroom, bracket location here, and you have your power, so your 110 outlets, and then the input for it right there. There's not a whole lot for your bedroom. Right here, water heater. Obviously there's no water in it, so I'm not going to turn this on, but here's your on and off. Temperature up and down, and you can switch between the Celsius and Fahrenheit. And then one of the last things in here I'm going to be talking about is your AC vent. So what most people do when they get to a campground, it's going to be super hot. So they open this up, let it completely dump out, just to make sure the main room starts to cool. And once it does start to cool down, they close it. And since it's all ducted, it's going to start to flow out the ceiling vents right there. Otherwise, that has been your orientation. If you do have any questions or if I missed anything, please write them down and take them in when you come to pick this up, or just go ahead and email me back your questions and I can help you answer them. Otherwise, congratulations and I hope you enjoy.